Microsoft and Meta team up for AI. Most countries' representatives agree that AI should be regulated globally, and AI is a force for good. You're watching the AI Report, one of the best episodes I've done lately, so I recommend liking, subscribing, and enjoying the ride. Let's get into it. The big news today, Meta and Microsoft partner up to release Meta's Llama 2 model. This picture of the newlywed CEOs kinda says it all. You can see the happiness gleaming from the picture. The model will offer licenses for free and commercial use and research. Llama 2 is now accessible through Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, Hugging Face, and other providers. This is the first LLM by a big company that gets open sourced. Like any other reasonable person, I'm in favor of open source tech, but I'm not 100% sure that giving access to this kind of power to everyone was a wise move at this point. I guess that was Meta's strongest, if not desperate move to join in on the AI race and catch up to the other players. The best we can hope for right now is that things don't go too wrong. Microsoft will be the preferred cloud partner for Llama 2. You can look at this from many different angles, but I think what's really going on here is both Microsoft and Meta are afraid of Google, and they're not confident they can each beat them in developing AGI on their own, so their best bet is to join forces. Google has always kinda tried to eat a piece of everyone's pie. They tried to kill Facebook almost immediately after it launched with that Google Circles fiasco, which ultimately failed, and Microsoft is the closest thing they have to a rival in most areas. Microsoft and Meta, on the other hand, have rarely stepped into each other's territory and have tried to collaborate on previous projects, most notably the Metaverse. Okay, here's an idea for a Netflix show. So, currently, OpenAI and Microsoft are leading the pack when it comes to AI. Google is definitely in the race, and it's lagging behind quite a lot, but they still have a lot of advantages like data and talent, and are threatening to catch up to OpenAI/Microsoft. Now, Microsoft partners up with Meta, they help run Llama 2 and make it more popular, maybe even use Meta's reach to promote ChatGPT for other use cases, kind of like divide the AI pie between the two models for different use cases. This is a serious blow to Google and makes them lose a lot of wind. But, plot twist, Google doesn't want to lose, so they decide to join forces with Elon. How about that? Now Google's top AI talent and abundance of data get a wild card, and with Elon's promotional genius and with Twitter's army of nerdy trendsetters, they make a complete turnaround and take the lead, and they have Microsoft and Meta on the ropes now. But, second plot twist. Now, desperate and in dire straits, Microsoft and Meta pull an ace out of their sleeves and join forces with, wait for it, Amazon. Bezos and Musk already have animosity between them because of their little rocket measuring competition, and there's no love lost between Google and Amazon. Google definitely want to take Amazon to the mat with Google Shopping, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend and all of that. So now Amazon provides even more compute power and infrastructure and resources, and now the trinity of giants starts turning the tide once again and crushing Google and Elon. But, third plot twist, I bet you didn't see this one coming. While all of these companies squabble and fight amongst each other, suddenly, out of nowhere, a Chinese super AI explodes on the world scene and is the best AI anyone has ever seen and starts changing our world while spreading evil propaganda and unraveling the fabric of Western societies. So now the tech giants have a tough choice to make. Do they keep going for dominance and separate teams, or do they finally put aside their differences and work towards a common cause? Well, I don't want to give you any more spoilers, so we will stop here. I might even pitch this script to Netflix. I honestly don't understand how this isn't a hit show yet. Okay, let's get back to the boring reality now. Microsoft's partner event Inspire started yesterday, and besides the Meta partnership, they have a few other important AI announcements. The Microsoft 365 suite will get its own AI co-pilot. You can now essentially use ChatGPT in Word, Excel, and the other boring Windows tools that run the business world. Copilot will cost around $30 per month, and this assistant alone caused Microsoft stock to jump by almost 10%. Besides the 365 Copilot, they will release Sales Copilot, which of course will make salespeople a lot more annoying, And also there's a business process automation, which I think will be huge, and also the cloud partner program, which will help partners build AI-based applications, and even a partnership with healthcare provider Epic Systems. Big day for Microsoft, no doubt. The Inspire event is still going. I doubt there will be any other announcements that are as important as these, but we will keep an eye on this anyway. Okay, this day clearly belongs to Microsoft, but we have an interesting announcement from Google as well. They are officially introducing their AI Red Team. Yeah, I know, Red Team. Sounds very cool. Like Star Wars pilot formation level cool. And what they do is even cooler. They basically try to hack AI by thinking like the bad guys would. What a great way to prevent AI risks. Instead of having a bunch of super smart hackers out there in the wild trying to figure out what sort of trouble should they start to pay their rent, hire them on your own team and have them help you strengthen the safety of your own AI. Google's Red Team is trying to exploit AIs through prompt attacks, training data extraction, backdoors, data poisoning, exfiltration, and other adversarial examples. So cool. While we're at Google, Mo Godat, I hope I'm not mispronouncing that, an ex-Google executive makes an argument that sex robots will eventually replace human sex. I don't know. Human sex is quite validating because you have like a living, breathing human being present with you in the process, a human being that you have to have mutual attraction with and establish comfort and rapport and date each other and understand each other and work on your issues and deal with your differences and resolve all of your petty drama and fights and handle all the emotions. And actually, yeah, he has a point. I see where he's going with this. Look, seriously. Will there be some nerds who can't get any action that resort to sex robots? Of course. Even sex dolls almost got the job done. In 50 years, the real sex robots will probably be insanely good. But my personal prediction is that, like myself, a lot of people are just irrationally old-fashioned for reasons that are beyond explaining. Even if you offer someone the most attractive, most compatible sex robot with the wildest skills, just knowing that it's not a human being will kill the vibe. Who knows? That may be just me, but I'm sure there are a few other people who would agree. Next, the UN Security Council discussed AI risks yesterday. Secretary General Antonio Guterres said a UN watchdog should be established to act as a governing body to regulate, monitor, and enforce AI regulations, similar to how other agencies oversee aviation, climate, and nuclear energy, for example. Mr. Guterres also warns that AI may ease a path for criminals, terrorists, and other actors intent on causing death and destruction, widespread trauma, and deep psychological damage on an unimaginable scale, his quote. We urgently need to shape the global governance of transformative technologies because AI knows no borders, says James Cleverly, the British chairman of the meeting. The majority of country representatives agreed that a global governing mechanism and a set of international rules are a good idea. What surprised me the most personally is that the Chinese were quite willing to cooperate on a global AI regulation effort. Maybe their position in AI is not as strong, or maybe they're just buying time, but those are just paranoid speculations at this point. I'm actually glad that they're on board with this, or they sound like it. Right now, Russia seems to be the most reserved country when it comes to global AI regulation, but I think the US and China can pull something off even without Russia at this point. Okay, all in all, it sounds like a somewhat productive discussion. I'm glad that world leaders don't want to blindly rush towards AI at any cost, or at least that they're willing to say that. In other politics news, US Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer wants to hold a series of forums with AI thought leaders and experts on how to regulate the AI in the US. He wants the following topics to be discussed: copyright, workforce issues, national security, high-risk AI models, existential risks, privacy, transparency, explainability, elections, and democracy. That's pretty much everything there is. I usually enjoy talking smack about politicians, but I'm not sure if Schumer can be doing a better job right now. We're still in the super early phases of AI. Pretty much nobody fully understands what is happening, and literally nobody knows what will happen. So the best course of action is humility, learning, and dialogue. And it seems like he's going in that direction. So we kind of have to give him props here. And last politics news for today. Trump posted a somewhat mild attack towards Iowa Republican Governor Kim Reynolds on Truth Social, or rather mild attack for his standards at least. And now a super PAC backing Florida Governor Ron DeSantis created a deepfake voice recording of the post, as if Trump himself had actually said what he wrote. I don't know, murky waters here. These are definitely not clear waters. Technically, it's not like they've made up stuff, but still, they have made up the medium and the content itself. Plus, this opens up the possibility of giving different meanings and interpretations to text content by choosing where to put the emphasis. For example, did you take that pen? Did you take that pen? Did you take that pen? You get what I'm saying. I'm not sure this should be allowed. Next, Britain's Secret Intelligence Service Chief Richard Moore, or as we all know him from the James Bond movies, M, says that AI won't replace human spies. Wasn't there a James Bond movie like this recently? And if there wasn't, I'm sure there will be one now. AI won't replace spies yet, and also it seems like it may not exactly replace authors as well. More than 8,000 authors, including the Da Vinci Code author Dan Brown, The Handmaid's Tale author Margaret Atwood, and the Hunger Games author Susan Collins, have signed an open letter demanding to be compensated for AI training on their writings. They state that the median income for authors has dropped by 40% in the last decade. I'm not sure what that has to do with AI, but it sounds like a good piece of data to throw in there. I think they have a point though. Maybe the existing copyright laws don't exactly include rules about using the writings for training AIs, but just because the AIs may have found a legal loophole doesn't make this whole thing fair. I would even go as far as saying that if an author's writing has been used to train a model, that author should receive royalties every time the AI generates profit from the writer's data. Honestly, that sounds almost impossible to implement, but it also sounds fair. And in a somewhat similar vein, AIs can now not only write text, but generate entire shows. Animated shows like South Park can now be created entirely with prompts. Let's check out this demo real quick. Sorry for that. I just will get the sound right here because this can be really loud sometimes. Okay, so it seems like they're choosing the cast here in the set. They added Mr. Andreessen as the hero. This is gonna be Mark Andreessen, the famous VC. So let's back up. Let's back up there for a minute. Cartman heard of the Screen Actors Guild strike. The kids are worried there won't be any new shows coming out. Cartman announces his business idea, a deepfake streaming service called Llama. Okay, and now the AI is gonna generate an entire South Park episode based on these prompts.
There won't be any profits,
Another investor to back your project first.
It's a risky investment. Okay, I'm not gonna play like the whole thing here, but I actually watched this entire episode. It's like a 4 out of 10 South Park episode, I guess. I've seen much better episodes, and I think this is a great representation of the entire state of AI currently. You can make a lot of stuff that's like 4 out of 10, but you can make them quickly and easily and for free. And some poor people somewhere will consume these products anyway and even pay money for them. And finally, let's end with some good news. More than 1,300 AI experts signed a public letter stating that even though there are risks with AI, it should be viewed as a force for good. The effort was organized by the British Chartered Institute for IT and was signed by various AI thought leaders and experts. I'm not saying I'm an AI expert, but I think this is a pretty rational view of AI right now. There certainly are some risks, especially down the line, but currently AI is a force for good, and that's the way it is. There was the AI report, lots of consequential stuff in a single day. I suggest liking and subscribing to stay in the loop on AI. I will see you tomorrow.